Might Gideon, a Nigerian from Rivers State. She's a passionate personal development advocate inspiring transformation through her writing. Her goal is to help readers heal, mend their hearts, and become their authentic selves. Known as the writing therapist on social media, her writing brings solace to those struggling emotionally and physically. She's also affectionately known as Shuliana. She's currently the author of the book titled You Are Enough. As gifted writer, she's received awards from Jit Crown Writing Academy as Best Graduating Student, and recognition from Cynthia Madukwi as one of the Nigerian Society of Campus Writers. Shulamite Gideon is a preacher, passionate about helping people connect with their creator. Her writing has received heartfelt testimonials. Join us tonight as we make welcome Miss Shulamite Gideon as she takes the stage.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Sir Daniel. Thank you, everyone, for having me. And I'm not going to fail to thank the previous speaker, Ma'am Antonia. You did a great job, man. I really loved your session. Okay, thank you for welcoming me. I love your reactions. Everything is going in well. Right from day one. I love how dedicated you all have been in here. And trust me, I have a gift for everyone. All right, so here is my session, and I really love it when engagement is going on so well. So if you're hearing me, keep showing your reactions. We are not on WhatsApp group, but I love your reactions. And if you're not, I would like you to use the income messages so I will know. All right, so I'm going to present a topic, and it's going to be a key point that many of us have been into. A lot of us are actually on this niche, and please just pay attention to it because it's going to be filled with value. Writing for advocacy and social change. The pen as a tool for justice. Oh wow, how I love the word justice. All right, so there's something I noticed. A lot of us are advocates, personal development advocates. I personally am a personal development advocate. I advocate a lot. That's why I birthed the name the writing therapist, because advocacy is something I really love. But sometimes some of us might be feeling like it's something common. Everyone is an advocate. How are they going to notice me? How am I going to stand out? This is what we are going to touch tonight. So, and one special thing about tonight's session is that I'm going to be touching many niches. In case you're a journalist, activities blogger, who are you? I'm going to reach your end today. All right, let's dive in. So let's start from the definition of writing for advocacy. This is the type of writing that aims to bring attention to social issue and inspire change. You moving people to do what you want that's good for the society, good for all our well-being. So your writing, your speaking should make sure it moves people. That's the definition of it. Things you should make sure of is compassion. If you're a writer, no matter your niche, you need to make sure your audience feel this compassion, your empathy. They should feel why the change is needed. You know, people love to get touched. Once they are touched, they will feel like, oh, this person really needs my well-being, my positive well-being is really for my good. So it will move people. So when you write, always show your compassion. Now, the next thing you need to do is accuracy. No matter what you do, you need to make sure what you're doing is accurate. Do research. Yes, many of us just get inspired and we go to our notepad or we go to somewhere we can type and just type it out. But if you're writing for social change about a particular topic, you should always make sure you're accurate. You don't need to take up random stuff and just drop it in there. Check fact information, ensure credibility. If you're writing about a state nasty activity, you need to make sure it's true. Because if people notice that you're dropping things that are not accurate, they are not true, they will see you as someone who promotes rumors, and you don't want to be known for that. because people make find out, and once they know that, they won't follow you, or they might even use you for their next blog post, and people will start bad mouthing you, and that is a very bad sign. It's a very bad way to begin as a writer, as a blogger, as an advocate for any niche. It's not good. So make your find out. Okay, let's give this example. Imagine you're writing about a state that's actually dumping dirt in their gutters, and it's kind of blocking the leakages and the pipes that connect everywhere. How do they do it? Which part normally does it in this state? And what is it causing? You will not just come up one day and start writing randomly. You need to make sure you know the people doing this, you know the parts where they are doing this, so that you're not going to pour out false rumors. Before you know, this is how riot comes up. So let's always make sure we are accurate. Make sure of this. Now, journalism. Most of us in school, maybe you are aspiring to be a journalist or whatsoever, or you might be a journalist writer. So when you do this, focus on highlighting important problems. This is very important. Make research. Don't just come up with inspiration. Inspiration is very important, but always do your research. Make observations. Sometimes just go online, go on Instagram, go on Facebook, go to apps or websites that brings up trending issues, and make sure you talk on that. People like what is trending. And also, the next thing we are going to talk about is activities blogging. So if you're an activities blogger, you should always involve yourself in individual or group promoting need for change. Okay, let's say you need change, you want to talk about specific issue. In this niche, you need to make sure your personal perspective stand out, your opinion and your experience. See, and you need to drop out strong proof that tells why this change is needed. You know how people are. They need to see reason why they need this change. So don't feel like I'll be judged. I don't know how people will see me. Maybe they'll feel like, no, my perspective does not matter. Let them know your opinion. It matters a lot. There are other like-minded people like you. So let them know this is how it is. And you don't know, it might actually bring out the biggest change you imagine. So always let out your perspective, your opinion, and very important, your experience. People love your experience. They want to know how that happened to you. Maybe a day something happened, you were like, something was happening, so you saw something that actually drew your attention, and maybe you got involved in it, and this is what you did. You can teach people from your personal experience. That's cause another different kind of change. It's a very massive one for that. All right, the next point we are going to talk about is true life stories. I'm not seeing your reaction. That's my booster. Please, can I know you're hearing me and following up? All right. Thank you, Immaculate. Zakin, I love you all. All right, let's dive in again. So, true life stories. Real life stories matters a lot. It's just like the previous point I just touched. People love stories. You can use an example that happened in the past. You don't just need to be a fiction person when you do this. You need true life stories, real experience that spark empathy and awareness. This is very needed though. Your personal stories matters a lot. A friend's personal story, or a personal story that you really know is accurate, that touched you, it might touch others too. Now, imagine this scenario. Imagine I'm having a conversation with you, and then the conversation is getting a bit boring, and then you shift your attention to something else. And all of a sudden, someone just brings up a story. Okay, I'm the one giving starting the conversation. Then I just spark up a conversation, a true life story that happens in the past. How does that get to you? Everyone loves story, right? Like it shifts your attention back to the message. That's exactly how life stories are. All of us love gist though. In fact, you see me, if you're saying something, once you just bring in gist, my full attention is there. So always make sure you put story. Stories is the salt in every writing, in every content you make. Then nextly, more like what brought us to this topic is inspiring change. Inspiring change is very needed though. If you're talking a whole lot of things and you do not remind people why you wrote that thing, why they need to change, man, to me, it's actually meaningless. Sorry for using that, but that's just the clear truth. So you motivate your readers to take action. Use a CTA. If you're used to this, the full meaning is call to actions. Move people. After you write a whole lot of things, your call to action is just like, okay, let's say someone start up a building, and then when you start up the building, you have not cleaned the house, you've not arranged the house. Can people move in? No, they cannot. So call to action represents you cleaning your house and telling people, enter, this house has finished though. So that's how it is. Use a call to action, move people to do something. Your post should not be something people will just scroll after and say, okay, I've read that, let's get to the next thing. No, it should move them. They should pause and think. All right, the next thing is writing campaigns. Writing campaigns is most times coordinating writers in form of volunteering or sometimes payment in order to promote something that is to happen soon. It might be a book launch. It might be an online event that actually need a very big campaign to bring awareness that this is actually happening. So when doing this, you need to drive actions to a specific event. Drive actions. This call to actions is also needed. So when doing campaigns, you need to tell people why this event is very needed, why people need to attend, just let people know the benefit. If possible, tell them what they are going to get when they attend. So don't miss this out at all. Then nextly, there is this writing niche called op-ed. It's not really common, but in case you're hearing it for the first time, it means opposite the editorial page. Now, let's get this clear. A section in newspaper or online publication where you write your opinion, pieces, and you publish it. Like now, if you're an author, you can choose to write about your viewpoints. After you see a newspaper, then you say, okay, this is my point. Let me write. And there's actually a space in let me say in a particular page for these people that write op-eds to drop out their points, their opinion on a particular issue, event, or topic. So op-eds are usually written by experts in a field, thought leaders, advocates, and many other. So in any niche you find yourself, make sure you stand out. Make sure your opinion and your facts are very strong. Now, let's dive into the next one, fundraising letters. Are you hearing it for the first time or you've heard it before? Let's get this clearer. This is making an appeal for financial supports, like to fuel a cause, trigger people to help a organization, a state whereby you need financial support, and why it is what say the okay, there's a community that actually needs help. There are children suffering from this particular disease, let's say cholera. The people are so poor. So you can just say, okay, let's do a fundraising later. It might be writing online or offline. So when you do this, you need to make sure you help people see why this is worth investing on. You cannot just say, okay, I need a job in America, so I need money to go to America in America. So please, I need money. No, that's not a strong reason. You have to fight for yourself for that. So let your audience know, or the people you're writing to know, why this is worth investing on. I hope you're getting this. Right, so let's get into the next one, and responsibility, ethics and responsibility. That's right. Ethics, how should I behave? What am I responsible for? So as a writer, be transparent to know what you mean. Okay, be transparent about what needs change individually. Just be accurate and fair. Don't side a particular person's. If you're talking about a state whereby this attitude is actually it's actually directing to discrimination, you don't need to side this place maybe because of a special feeling for them. No, you don't want to do that. So don't cite any group, just touch and repeat sensitive points. This is very important. Repeat sensitive topics with care and understanding. You don't need to just do it like, okay, since I'm here, I want people to know my point. No, they should know how you feel about it. They should know that yes, this person really. I've said this before and I'll say it again. People need to feel that compassion, empathy. That's a very strong need for change. So don't use words that will hurt people. No. You can spark up conversation with your words that sometimes it will actually make them get the main point deeper. Just imagine, like previously, there's a post I made on Facebook. It was just I think just a sentence. It was not up to two sentences, just a sentence. The conversation that really sparked up me. There were many people that even came to the comment section. They were reacting to other people's comments on it because of it sparked up conversation. And even I gained a lot. So make sure when you write, it spark up conversation. People need to know what they are responsible for. Make sure of call to action in this too. Very, very important. So no matter your niche, in every niches or content you make sure there is these 5 things I'm going to mention now in your content. It is very, very important. I hope I'm not rushing. This is just my way of speaking. Is anyone feeling like I'm rushing too much? Can I hear someone, please?
No, ma'am.
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
All right. Let's continue. So these are the 5 things you need to make sure of in your writing. This is actually a bonus and it's something I do teach people in my class. So I'm going to drop this out for you. So please pay attention to this part. It's your number one, hook. Now, hook as writer, some might be new to this and some already know. It's what draws people to your content. What's this about? It's just like there's this write up I first saw on social media that really grabbed my attention. The headline, okay, the topic of that content is the kiss theory. I was like, what is kiss theory? So I wanted to go through it. I'm not a bad girl. I just wanted to go through it. And then when I go through it, I noticed that kiss theory actually it's an abbreviation for a sentence called keeping it simple and short. Are you getting it? So I was just like, wow, what a hook. That was the person's hook. You know that many people will be like, geez, what's a hook theory? What's a kiss theory? I mean. So when I get to see that, I was just like, wow. So that's the person hook. And I get to read to the end. The person was highlighting why it's very important as a writer to keep your write-up simple and short. Keeping it simple and short is abbreviated as kiss theory. Then to the next one, that's the person's hook. The next thing you need to make sure in your writing is structuring. Structure your write-up in a way that is going to make people love it. They are going to understand your point. Okay, you started with your hook, you go on with your storytelling, you go on with the next line. People should just flow with you. Your structuring is most times like the overall thing needed in your house. Let's say the way you okay, let's say an architect drew the house, so that's the structuring. Sometimes before you write, you can pause and think, how am I going to structure this content that's going to reach the heart of my readers? So structuring is very, very important. Now, the next thing is storytelling. I would always say storytelling is very important. There's a colleague of mine, when she writes, if there's no story, it's not Annie. Her name is Annie, it's not Annie. Annie loves to put story. Sometimes you just, people love story. You just be like, wow, the next thing you're going to see in the next paragraph is what you need to do. Sometimes it's for you to buy her book. Like this, my book showing up there. You will just be like, ah. So I was reading all of this story just to get her book, or it might just be for a class you need to join. So storytelling grab the hearts of your readers. It can be a personalized story, that of others. Just make sure people get to flow with you. Me, if I see a story on social media, I won't skip. I'm going to definitely go through that post and see the end of it. And let's say you put a call to action that needs me to buy from you. Definitely, your structuring, your storytelling will definitely make me want to get that book. So always make use of a storytelling. And then the fourth thing you should make sure of is stick to the main point. A lot of writers, sadly, always don't take note of this. You know, this how your soul will be in a writing, in a content that you don't know when you start drifting from the main point. Please don't make this mistake. Once you drift from the main point, people will be confused, and that's what makes people scroll through to the next write up and say, what's this person even saying? Okay, this is what you should take note of. Once you find yourself scrolling to the next, like drifting from the main topic, you just crop out that and use it for a different write-up. Save it somewhere in your notepad. That's what you should do. Never drift from the main point. When you drift from the main point, it's just like now I'm telling you how to cook okra soup. If you're not in Nigeria, you might not understand. It's one of my favorite soups, so I'm going to use it as an example. If I want to teach you about how to cook okra soup, then I'm telling you now, this is how you should cook okra soup. Just like, for example, when I was cooking egusi soup yesterday, so I now added, I will be confused. What this person even saying? Safe? Are we learning about okra soup or egusi soup? So always stick to the main point. If you're telling people why childbirth, they need to make sure they mothers need to always attend their antenatal, make sure they keep their doctors updated. Stick to that main point. Don't go to how fathers need to do too. Just stick to it. On another headline, you can choose to talk about fathers and their responsibility. Always stick to the main point. And then lastly, this is the overall thing that even if sometimes you were not saying something that was that interesting, this will make your audience know what you meant. Call to action. A CTA is what most people after you're writing to do it. I would always repeat this. Call to action is very important. Just like now, writers are going to leave here and they will start up a maybe a content, and then just imagine they just write without telling them what to do next. The content is actually meaningless and you don't want to do that. So in anything you do, whether you're writing as a journalist for ethics and responsibility, fundraising letters, or you're just telling a story, even if you're a fiction writer, I'm sorry this is not in this, but you need to always make sure you tell people what to do next. There should be a moral lesson. There should be something to move people, push them, be unapologetic when you write. Just let people know that you can't read this and go like that. You have to do something about it. So make sure your call to action is active. When you write, edit, go through it, and make sure this particular feature in writing is in there. So that's it. And please, dear, I always want to see many writers, many advocates soaring high in the writing world. Man, I love it when I see other writers doing well. I'll be like, even if you do better than me, that's just what I love. I love the writing generation soaring high, dishing out value. Man, our plates are open, roast us with knowledge. That's what we love. So, in anything you're doing, make sure your pen is a tool for justice. You type, make sure it's a virtual pen for justice. You need to stand that. And as a writer, if you're still struggling with, maybe I should say you're struggling with standing out, I have this pattern of writing, but many writers don't do it. No, don't feel that. Your voice matters a lot. When I started writing, I felt like, no, there's this pattern I used to write. At some point in my writing, I always use hi dear. I know that's not professional, but it's my own way of doing things. But I had to accept the fact that that's what makes me different. And my niche, my kind of writing, apart from being a personal development advocate, I have other niches attached to it. And I felt that was a bit awkward. But no, I had to accept my words. So please, just like my book on the screen states, you are enough. As a writer, accept the fact you are enough. And I'm also going to recommend this book for any writer that wants to stand out. So if you know you want to stand out, you want your voice to be unique, accept your words. Get this book too. And I love the dedication a lot of you have been putting in through this writing conference from day one. And because of that, this book worth a lot, but I'm going to give it for a very big discount of just 1,000 naira. So I'm going to drop it in the group later, but remember the main point. Go out there, advocate for what you know how to do best, and shine. I'm always rooting for you all. I love you all. Keep shining. Thank you very much, ma'am, for having me. You can drop your questions if you have.